Here we go.
And we're live. This is a bonus episode for only our Patreon members. We're super excited that we launched Patreon back again. If you're here and you were here the first time, we're super happy to have you back. If you remember what it was like back 3 or 4 years ago, it was pretty cool. I think people really enjoyed it. We had a lot of different people call into the show, ask us questions. It was really cool because we honestly got to develop relationships with our listeners and our community, and so we're doing that again. If you're watching this or listening to this right now, it's because you are part of our Patreon channel. We appreciate you. Suggest different ways that we can continue to interact, right? Depends on the tier that you've subscribed, but some of you have just the regular subscription. Some of you have all access. Some of you are VIPs. If you're VIPs, we're gonna hop on the phone with you every month. If you're all access, you're gonna get on all these caller shows and be able to talk to us directly on shows. We'll give you guys shout outs. Also, there's the email address that you guys can get directly in touch with us. We're gonna probably, after recording this, create the group chat for our community. So it's a lot of different things that we're looking to do, and we want to really see the most efficient ways to provide the best value and content, because it really means a lot that you support us. We obviously get a fuck ton of messages and questions all the time, and so we decided we need to have this more organized for the people that really want to support us. And the small subscription fee allows us to do this really full time and produce it at a very high level. So we appreciate that continued support. So yeah, I think that's really it. We just want to thank you, and hopefully the content is what you want to hear, and suggest.
Peter Navarro does that. I like it.
Suggest to us, what topics you want us to talk about, and we're gonna provide, and there's gonna be bonus episodes only exclusively on Patreon like this one. So we're just excited to get back and rolling full steam ahead. But what do you want to say first to people that support us that are here on our Patreon channel?
Hi. You know what I really miss, because we had a lot of good friends on that used to talk to us all the time. There were regulars that we were talking, and they'd call in. And
shout out to Angie.
Angie was one. The guy Billy was another. There was a handful that were really very, very loyal, and then there was a lot of others that would call in, on a regular, but some of them were really constantly with us.
Well, also too, just not to interrupt you, but what I think now we really want to do is it's not just even those live call-ins, right? I think you and I getting on the phone with some people, I don't know, maybe they have business questions, right? And I think that's one of the things that we want to do with our VIP patrons is, maybe they have questions about business, family life. They want to make it a little bit more personalized. I think also the other thing that people really enjoy is when you give a video response to the questions. So I forget which tier it is, but we're going to be doing that, so you write in a question, and then we'll have John answer in a video format. The email address that will make accessible as well to be able to reach out and go back and forth, group chat with other of our loyal members. All that stuff I think is really cool, because we have a really, really cool community, and a lot of people that are interested in this life, and not just the mob content, but also business and family.
I like when they join in too, when everybody gives us other subjects that they're interested in and ask us to talk about. I like that myself, because and we used to joke a lot. I joke a lot, and everybody knows that.
And this is cool too, because this is not the stuff that's going to go public on YouTube or anywhere else. So it's just for our core community. So
you remember when I first put the videos out from the clubs?
Yeah, exactly. You guys, and we should. That's also the other thing, that hopefully by the time you're watching this, we're gonna have our backlogged catalog from back in the day, which I don't even think is up on YouTube, or definitely not everything. So we're gonna make all of that accessible to you. You'll see a familiar face in Gene Borello on some of those, but really some dope footage of you at the Raven Night and pointing out big mob figures. I mean, that's really exclusive footage from an era that I don't even think it's public on the internet. So that's gonna live exclusively on our Patreon channel. So we're just looking for as many ways to get you involved.
Put some of those videos out too from when we were traveling.
Yeah.
In different countries, for people know that you're in Dubai and France.
Yeah.
And we got to start putting some of that out
We
because
will.
we're all over the world and
Yep.
we travel in different countries.
And our live shows, you
Pretty
know,
cool for everybody to
our
see.
live shows are going to be our live shows already here on the Patreon. We're going to have more live shows in the future. We'll give you guys first access and let you know what cities we're going to be hitting in the future, which we definitely want to do again soon. Probably Florida, I think, would be next, maybe the Tampa area, but that's a conversation for another day. So yeah, we're excited about that. But today we wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about FBI and the Mafia and kind of similarities, differences, because I know you have a bunch of opinions. And if you watch the live show, which is, as I just said, on our Patreon channel for everybody at every tier, we had Ted Otto, who is a former FBI agent, really smart guy, really well-spoken we kind of surprised him at the live show. He was a little thrown off.
But because Jimmy Quinlan never told him. And Jimmy, we're going to come at you in another way. Jimmy Quinlan is a great guy for people that don't know. And he's involved in different projects with me. And he was supposed to give the message that we were calling him up, and he never did.
Right, he literally did. Like Ted Otto, like Ted was, he was surprised. And imagine you're in a room with 100 people.
He's a very organized guy.
I know, and yeah, he's like, very straight edge,
Yeah.
And you're in a room with 100 people, you're put on the spot, and we thought that he was ready for it, but that was super cool. Our live show was really, I think, a very cool moment. We brought up Yancey, who we just did a show with, that'll be on the Patreon very shortly if it's not already there by the time this comes out. That was one of John's, I guess, in jail with you, and
Very close friend of mine.
Very good friend in jail, and they hadn't seen each other in 25 years, and that was the first time. Like, he showed up to our show. We didn't even know he was there, and then asked a question towards the end and came up on stage. So great moment. I think you guys, if you haven't watched the live show already, you'll really, really enjoy it. We had John's son, Johnny, talk to us, who was really insightful. It was just a really beautiful night altogether.
Well, it was a nice night. Really, it really was, and it was, really nice of Ted to come up on stage and talk, and it was Yancey. I'm calling him Yancey now still too with Derek, but anyway, we're back and seeing each other all the time, talking constantly like we never missed a beat from 25 years ago. So it's nice to have a friend back. And his wife has got to be joking that he said now they can't get rid of me, so we're always on the phones, we're meeting each other, we're having lunch, and it seems like it was yesterday. So it's great. It's nice to have a real friend.
So, speaking of FBI agents, how are the mob and the FBI similar and or different?
A lot more different than similar.
You mean a lot more similar than different?
Well, a lot more similar.
You think they're completely different?
Yeah. Without a doubt. One group's very smart, the other group's kind of very dumb. So
similar tactics, though, sometimes.
The FBI, I'm going to say, is the very smart group for the people that are a little confused. Listen, to some things, tactics are similar in different, kind of different ways, but similar. But I go through things like, and I talked over the years, and there was a Forbes article about me and Dave Gentile, who was very close, and this is like a brother to me, and guys like Ted Otto, that, great guy and very, very intelligent. Guys like Lou DiGregorio is another ex-agent. These are just gentlemen, nice guys, to be honest with you. And, people could say what they want. You go to war like Japan did with the United States, and they're not enemies anymore. Life moves on. These guys are out of the life, and the guy Steve, that's very good friends with me, is off the job now and became very good friends. So I look at these guys, and I talk about certain aspects. When you go through life, and I was just up in Warwick, and I was at the Grappa restaurant. Great guys, and I want to say hello to those guys. And when you see gentlemen, and that's what most of society wants, is people that are kind to each other, gentlemen, intelligent, sociable. And when you see these kind of guys, that's what they are, right? And when you see my old life, there's a handful of nice guys from the past, from the street. They went in the wrong direction like me. The problem is most of them aren't nice guys. Most of the qualities they have, and people can be honest or they can lie to themselves. They're jealous of each other. They're insecure. They're liars. They screw their best friends. They're not businessmen. They deceive their partners. And these are just a handful of things I just said off the top of my head. And this is why I'm one of the guys that say I'm so happy that I got away from that life and got my life back.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody, like, listen, you go to the fights, you want to watch a good fight. At the end of the fight, they shake hands, they walk away. In that life, that's not what happens. Everybody screws each other every which way. So when people talk about loyalty in that life, it's the most ridiculous thing you ever heard in your life. Because the mafia is built on deceit, treachery, and betrayal. And it's not like my word, like I'm not telling anybody something that's secret. This is not a secret. This isn't the movie The Godfather. This is true life. Albert Anastasia was a rat, straight out rat. And anybody that, you know, when you call and you ask questions, and I can tell you what he did to Lepke, and he gave him up. You know, Lucky Luciano, one of the most famous bosses around, was a rat. He made an excuse, though I was only 15 or 16 at the time when they caught me with heroin, and I didn't know any better. Since when does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Through the history, you have each group, each gang, each organization that would rat and call the cops if they knew where the liquor was held or where their guns were. So that's a rat. They switch it, and then as the years went on into this time and day and age, you weren't allowed to, you know, I've said this over and over again, it shows you weren't allowed to allocute to positions or the existence of the mob. That's a rat. Well, now they do that too. They're not allowed to tell people they're made guys to citizens. They do that too. They're not allowed to tell girls. They do that too. So when I'm looking at strength, where's the strength? You know, they're not educated, most of them. So it's not like they're school educated. They're not business oriented. There's some that are very intelligent. And like I said, there's always others. There's always some nice guys. But overall, the FBI wins in every category.
What did you think when you were active, like, made a good FBI agent?
I was always, listen, guys, FBI guys, you know, you'd see guys, you're always a gentleman. You're supposed to be a gentleman. If you want to be a low-life punk, you know, you could tell them, hey, go fuck yourself and curse them. What's that going to do? They're doing their job, we're doing our job. So their job was to come get us. We know that. Somebody's got to come get you.
Right, but what were characteristics of, like, a really good FBI agent?
Hardworking, right? Hardworking, the ability not to be seen, the ability to work the background, the ability to work sources.
There was a story you told me once, I think it was a while ago, where I think it was off air, where you told me about I think when you were at a bar, at a social club, and a guy was an FBI agent and he was trying to, like, tell you that he knew who you were and what you did, but you had already been, like, on his ass because you saw his plates.
Oh, no, this is, I had a parking company in Florida.
Right.
And he had a yacht. And he was smart in certain ways, because what he did was he went to the guys that worked for me, you know, illegal and legal. And he went to them and he impressed them with his yacht. And he took them out on the yacht. And he told them that he owned nightclubs in the Bahamas and that he wanted to wash money. And he was getting to them to meet me. And so when he met me, I knew. I said, obviously.
Like, what did he say to you?
That he wanted to talk to me about cleaning money and sending money into the Bahamas for me. And he mentioned some names that knew me. So obviously he threw out a couple of names. I didn't buy it. Another time, another agent also went to our bar, the White Horse. My friend Frankie's company, he passed away since. His father owned the bar, then he owned the bar. Was always known to be a wise guy, hang out. Johnny Santora and my cousin Patsy, he was older at the time, he died, and Johnny died naturally after that. Their group would stay there, and then as we got older, we stayed there. But he came pulled up with a Mercedes. He started coming in the bar drinking, got friendly with guys, and he started getting high a little bit with them. So they're saying, oh, this guy's got a Mercedes, he's got money, you know, these are guys that aren't too swift on their feet, you know, because most guys, again, on the street are dumb.
Right.
So this is a nobody guy that came in, got in with all of them, and they started selling him half a kilos. As soon as they told me about it, I go, okay, I'll see you guys. I says, tell me where you want me to send your commissary, because you're going to jail. So when he tried to approach me, I went into the bar and I told him, I said, listen, I don't know who you're doing business and why you're doing it. I'm not in that business. I says, but I know you're a cop, so you're not welcome here anymore. And he goes, I'm not a cop, I swear. I go, listen, I know you're a cop. You can sell that to these guys. Doesn't matter to me. I don't sell drugs. And, so that was the end of his, but he did pinch a couple of guys.
But didn't you also, but it was, you knew it too because his license plates were different or something like that?
Well, the plate's not going to, it's a plate that either go to nowhere or it's a plate that's registered to, a fictitious company or something. So we checked out his plate. But you didn't have to check out his plate. It was too obvious what he was doing.
Was he like nervous when he was talking to you?
Nah, he was.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good. He was experienced, whoever he was. He's done it before. They come in, they mix in with guys, but for the most part,
And they're all wired up the whole time. Yeah.
I don't know, but the most part, they're very experienced what they do. They come in and they get the weaker guys. They know what they're doing.
Oh, right.
They don't come in and go to the top. They try to get to guys that have no money, guys who are a little weaker, guys that talk too much, guys that are drunk a lot, guys that get high a lot, so that's their in. And they start getting friendly with them, and then they move to the next, and they try to get into the inner circle. And usually when a guy's like really, you get a lot of mob guys, right? They know everybody's name. And the other day I was listening to Dominic Sicali, who was captain of the Banana family. And he said something very smart. And, you don't hear guys say a lot of smart things, right? But certain guys are smart. He said something very smart. He said, listen, I don't give a shit. Because they asked him, there were Q&A with him. They asked him questions. And he said, I don't know who that is. And I don't know his name. He wasn't shy about saying that because he said, I don't care who anybody is.
Right.
If they're not making money with me, it has something to do with me, I'm not paying attention to them.
Right.
And really, that's the way it's supposed to be in that life.
Right.
You know guys 20 and 30 years from the street, from the club, from this. You just say hello and goodbye. You might know his first name. You might know his nickname. You really don't care. You're just trying to go out there and make money and survive.
Yeah.
So when guys are these kind of guys that they're like kind of like, guys that watch they trade baseball cards. They know everybody's name, his batting average. These are not real guys, because if they are, they wouldn't be interested in another guy like that. So that's the issue.
You'd have made a good little FBI agent.
From any street guy would actually be pretty.
Well, not any. I met
the
some
more
fucking
intelligent
dummies.
guys would. Yeah, I always say the same thing. You met enough of them, and I'm like,
oh my god.
Now
You know what's so funny? I
always
always think about it I always think about it like at that point I was like 19, 20. I remember when it was like us and five, and I'm thinking, I looked at a video the other day because I was on our Patreon channel, an old video, and it was like me, you, Gene, Bobby,
oh god,
his little sidekick.
If they did
Paulie.
an IQ test,
Oh my god,
they'd fail. You ever know that game when you're a kid? They play Operation. They'd kill every operator. They would kill.
I mean, how funny was that? I just remember also when we were standing on the street. And people would like look at us a little weird because they see like five guys that all look like mobsters.
I'll give you a good story, right?
And
so
then
they
me.
can understand the intelligence of those guys.
It's fucking shockingly low.
So we're in jail, and David Boca, if you look up his name, anybody, he's in Canada, look up his case. It's Bokur. He was stealing money from the elderly, their pensions and everything. A heartless bastard, right? This is the people's life savings. So I had no qualms with robbing him, right? But I did it in an intelligent way, right? Because everybody's trying to shake him down. They know he's wealthy. He's in the newspapers.
Right.
But most of them are trying to get $100 from him, right? No, they think they're making a big move because they're getting 100, send me 300 to try and extort him while he's in there. I did the opposite. I got very friendly with him. And then I got him for about 140,000.
Jeez.
So I'm going back in the 90s. So, that's big money. It's like $500,000.
I know, fuck.
And he was promising me more money when he got back to Canada, because I said I could get him back to Canada and bypass the time he was doing here, which luckily he did get back to Canada. But I knew he wasn't going to send me anything. The only thing he was going to send me is another case.
Yeah.
He tried to hit me with, he tried to get me locked up for taking his money, but there was no way to prove it. Because what I did was, at the time, is I had my friends and cousin come up and meet his wife in
Classic.
In a McDonald's off the side of the highway, and I told him, make sure the present's wrapped up. That's a birthday present, so they don't know the contents of the box, and put all the money in the box. and we'll work it from here. I don't care. So on the visit, make sure you talk to
That
the
was
family.
140 in the box.
And it was 140,000 in the box. So
Must be fucking nice.
when they were coming home, I made the phone call to them
Right.
from the jail, and I said, while they're driving home, make sure you drive careful. And I told them that the visit before,
Right,
don't speed
right.
or anything. I said, then make sure you bring the birthday present home and give it to my father. So they think it's really a birthday present. They have no.
Yeah.
Later on, I give them all 10,000 each. But the point is, the intelligence of most of these guys are,
Oh my God.
if they can get 200 or 300, they're happy. So I had to get a slew of guys out of my way. I will leave the guy alone. I got him. I'll give you all, and I gave them all 200, 300, 500, 1,000. The most I think I gave any of them was like that. But and one of my friends, I gave him a good amount of money. But the rest of them, but they just don't think to that. They don't have the ability to think.
Oh my God. I mean, some of these guys, like, this is our Patreon community, so we can talk to them more personal. I mean, I've been around some, and it is shocking. It is like shocking.
Wasn't shocking for me, maybe for you, but I did tell you. I let you know.
These are guys that used to make, some of them, like, really legitimate money. It doesn't take necessarily brains. Let's put it that way.
No, because I always say the same. It only takes one thing to get rich at.
Yeah,
you got to be good at.
Well, especially when they're doing it legitimately.
Well, if you're doing it legitimately, but if you anything, you can be a cook, you can be an electrician, you can be an operator, machine operator. You can make some serious money and invest it right. You can get rich. You don't got to be somewhat intelligent actually.
What were some of the deals like the FBI agents would give? If they were trying to like use somebody as like a pawn to get to the bigger bosses.
Well, they did it with Lefty Ruggiero, right? He was a broke guy.
And they were giving him like thousands a month.
Bresco. And he comes around with jewelry, and he says that he's jewelry, he's heisting jewelry, and he's got swag, which is stolen merchandise, clothes, and he's giving, and Lefty's broke. So if he makes them and he gives them 200 or 300, the guy's happy. And now he wants you around every day.
Right.
The smart agent, like in this, he was very smart because he doesn't have to call Lefty Ruggiero.
Right.
Lefty's going to call him because he has no money. So all he's going to do is a couple of bucks. Now he's trying to pull him next to him. He goes, "You're around me," and he's he loves the guy because of course you can't make a penny.
There was you remember, speaking of, and our OG supporters will remember this. You remember John Rubio's story?
Sure.
I mean, man, talk about fucking not bright.
No, he wasn't bright, but he was good with the...
he was good, yeah.
sport.
Well, I just mean not bright in the sense of, do you remember he got
did he get violated or something?
Because of our show.
But the guy's a moron. You asked him, can he come on the show? Are you allowed to come on the show? He says,
and
yeah.
he was saying things that were like, he was not to if he's
poor John, we like him.
no we do. I'm just saying it was this
But you're a
specific
moron.
well, it was this specific thing where he was talking about how he was working for the FBI and that he would specifically not do what they asked him with like the phone, or he would like throw away the FBI phone that he was supposed to use and use his own, and he said it on our show. And then you remember it was like an article. I need to find this article just because it was an article.
Oh yeah, he did that.
It was
doing. He was turning it on and off so he can gamble.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing. He was turning it on and off. So when he needed to gamble and whatever he was doing.
Oh yeah, wait.
Yeah, he was
Daily Mail article. I didn't even remember this. This is about our show. Daily Mail. I didn't realize we were on Daily Mail. Mafia informant who boasted on podcast about destroying evidence in prosecution of Philadelphia mob boss Skinny Joey Merlino and claimed he committed more crimes while working for the FBI than on the street avoids additional jail time. Listen. John Rubio, 45, appeared in a Manhattan court on Tuesday for charges he violated his probation by associating with other former mob members. The former informant admitted to destroying evidence and committed robberies while an informant during an appearance on the Johnny and Gene show.
You know what he should have said? The judge should have said, "Get in front of my."
Oh my God!
Step in front of my. He should have said, "Step in front of my desk." Do you want to go to jail for being stupid, or just let me give you one slap?
Oh my God! How
dumb?
fucking funny is this?
Poor John Rubio.
I was committing more crimes when I was working for them than when I was on the street, and they were paying me $15,000 a month. Rubio said. Rubio was charged with communication with convicted felons without permission after appearing in the podcast with former Gambino associate John Alite, and former Banana associate Gene Borello.
You know, back then nobody did these shows.
I know. The former, this is his Judge Sullivan. The former informant previously spent about 5 years wearing a wire and 2 years in jail, he said on the podcast.
He wore
Wait, listen. Yeah. I was pretty confident I wouldn't be seeing Mr. Rubio again, Sullivan said. This is a person who was given an opportunity and squandered it. I'm really troubled by it, speaking about his appearance. I mean, you have to laugh. It's funny. It was all on our show. I mean, think about some of the things that it's been such a ride from the really beginning. Was. I mean, we had
Gene did some crazy things too.
Oh my God! I mean, then we don't even talk about that.
Boy, I love Gene, but boy, Gene is crazy.
Yeah, we won't get into that, but damn, too funny. But anyways, this is the content we want to bring you on Patreon. The stuff that for our most loyal and our base community that have been supporting us for so many years. All of the stuff we're talking about right now, I'm going to try to link it and bring it back on the Patreon. I think a lot of it is backlogged there, so it's going to be really an infinite amount of content. And whether you're
you better be able to do that, because me, I can't even get
he can barely use the parking app on his phone.
I'm still trying to learn how to what is that,
bro? You can't do shit is what you can't. Yeah, you can't do anything. But
I gotta say something for everybody that's there. If anybody thinks I'm on computers, sometimes they accuse me. I'm like, I don't even know how to get on the computer.
No, he doesn't even know how to do
this. It's so crazy when they say that.
I mean,
under
it's
a fake
shocking.
Name or something.
No, it's shocking. It's shocking.
I die laugh.
But whether you're a patron at any level, we're gonna give you bang for your buck value, and we're excited. Not only the content, but also hopefully some personal life advice, business advice, whatever it is. We're here, and
travel advice.
Travel advice.
I'm going to Germany soon.
Yeah. We'll do some. We'll do some call-ins and we'll let you know. But anyways, we appreciate your support always. You can write here on the Patreon. The email, we're also going to probably have a phone number that you'll be able to text in some of your questions. I got to set that up. It'll probably be up by the time this video comes out. But we appreciate your support, and we'll see you guys very, very soon.
See ya. I'm taking that from Peter Navarro. I like that.